Hello, creative friends. I'm Kathleen Arola-Johnson of Creative Solace Studios. I'm the guest presenter this month with Susan of I Turtly Love It's Junk Journal Madness. I'm going to show you 3 ideas of the book that I'm going to make for this month-long collaboration. And I have a lot of friends who have noticed that I've been posting about bookmaking and journal making, and they're like, hey, I want to get in on it, but I don't know about it. Where do I start? So I'm going to show you 2 super easy books or booklets that are made with photocopy paper. Anybody can do it. And then I'll show you a 3rd book with an accordion binding and envelopes, still easy. The theme for this month is Cornucopia of Gratitude, where our journal is our basket of harvest, our horn of plenty, that we are going to collect things on the pages, decorate the pages with things we're grateful for. Please check out Susan of I Turtly Love It's videos on her YouTube channel. Find us on social media, as well as my first video for this collaborative teaching project, where I brainstormed about what the Cornucopia of Gratitude theme means for me. I'm going to use more than one of these theme brainstorming ideas in my journal, but I will start with keeping in mind that I liked the idea of writing thank you letters to people, situations, or myself that I'm grateful for. Hence, the envelopes that I will be gluing inside this accordion spine to construct my book. But before I get to that book, let's jump into the super easy one. I mean, if you're like, hey, I want to get in on this fun project, but where do I start? Photocopy paper. This is literally 3 little pieces of photocopy paper and a colored photocopy paper on the edge. You could use a scrapbook paper. You could use any colored paper. You don't even need that. And I am literally using a stapler. Bam. Whoa, not bam. That staple came out wonky. Let's try it when I'm putting it down here. Kind of close to the edge, but not completely there. 1 staple. 2 staples. And you're done. You've got one of the easiest junk journals ever. And hey, if you still want to create the more complicated book, you can make this little mini book and use it as part of your other junk journal. But if this is all you want to do, get in on this challenge with us and do something easy like that. One more take on this easy version is to vary the sizes of your photocopy paper as well as the color. Tear some edges, rip around them, give it some variety, and fold these uneven sized papers together into a little booklet. This time I'm going to make a colored cover, and it's going to be stapled, inside like that, but I want the cover to be a little bit larger than the book itself. So there's a frame around the book. And notice that I made it longer on this end. Let's fold it up so we're actually making a folder. So you've got some interactive pockets, folder pockets on the front inside covers. This is still super easy, but just given a little bit of flair to it, something a little bit different. I'm still using staples. Let's go for it. Still kind of close to the edge. I can fold it open like that. Ta-da, you've got a pocket right there. You can either staple this closed or glue it closed also. And this time I'm going to show how to do the invisible staples to hide the staples by using a contrasting paper. This one is scrapbook paper, and gluing it right on top. So these are two super easy mini, I would call them mini junk journals. If you are just getting into junk journaling, you want to try something, give it a try. Don't let the journal making part of it keep you away. And yes, you can buy a journal. You can use a composition notebook. You don't have to make it. There's just something fun that's fun about hand making your journal, feeling like you're in on the construction process. So I wanted to show these two mini examples that are friendly for anybody to do. And even if you do, like I said, a bigger journal, some of these could fit inside of a pocket of your larger journal. So here's two junk journal examples. Let me go on to the third one that I'm making with the envelopes. Now, the type of glue that I use is PVA glue. It's a bookbinding glue, and I'm not really successful with glue sticks. I've tried different varieties of them, and this just stays a lot better for me. So I'm collecting what's going to be the pages in here. Possibly all of these envelopes, possibly just some of them. I'm looking through a book, Ultimate Visual Dictionary, that I got from a thrift store. And I'm looking for a couple of pages to tear out. I was interested in this sunflower and also these botanicals. Let's see what we might want to do with this for either a page or a pocket or envelope into this same journal. I'm not sure how many of these I'll use. I'm going to tear out all three of these. And then I am setting them here with my envelopes and taking a look at the color theme. This will be the back of my spine. And I'll take out my box of paper scraps, take a peek through here, just pull out a couple things that might be in the color scheme that I seem to be ending up with is pinks, warm colors, maybe some of these browns. You can use whatever papers you have on hand, scrapbook papers, junk mail. When I like to do, I mentioned in my first video, mixed media, junk journals. That means paint and other supplies besides just paper. So there's two main ways to approach the mixed media style. One is to make your journal and then add paint, markers, drawings, whatever materials you might like. And the other style is to start with painted papers, for example, these scraps from other projects, and make these into the pages of your journal. They're not exactly in the color theme that I seem to have started, so I'll put those aside for now. This should be plenty, and let's take a look at what we've got. Spreading out what I have, I enjoy different types of paper, different surfaces to work on. And where are those envelopes hiding? Okay, so the envelopes were my main inspiration, so I'm going to start with them. I think I had one more in here, did I? I did. This one I think is going to be a little bit big, so I'm setting that to the side. These two were from cards. This one is junk mail. I want to use this junk mail one even though it is larger. I want to keep this interesting window on it. I'm going to trim it, not exactly the same size as these other two. I like to vary my size. I could put it under the paper cutter, but I am going a little bit bigger and I'll eyeball this one. I'll cut it off and then seal up that end of it later. So the pink one, I think I want to introduce that color in the beginning and then have these two later on. So to start with, I am gluing inside of the accordion fold and placing an envelope with its back glued onto that fold. So this front part is still open. Notice I didn't start on the end. We'll talk about how to do that end later. Then I'll do the same thing with these other two. I should also mention that if you don't have a ready-made envelope, you can take a piece of paper, a rectangle, a magazine page, a scrapbook page, any kind of paper, photocopy paper, fold it in half, glue the two sides, leave the end side open, and you've got your own pocket or envelope. Or if you have one envelope, you could always take it apart, open up the folds carefully, lay it flat, and then trace it onto another paper and have your own pattern to make your own envelopes in those ways. So there's different ways that you can use envelopes or recycle envelopes that have been mailed to you in the mail. I chose to skip an accordion fold in between each envelope to leave room for other pages. So I have 3 envelopes inside of this. We'll have a cover on top of here so it will secure them inside of it. But that's the gist of how our book is going to open. We're going to leave the front and back of the accordion fold empty because that is where we will glue it onto the cover of the book. So I've got one more place in here. Which color do I want to start the book with? Wow, this sunflower is pretty striking. How are we doing for size of it? I will trim this down a bit. All right, putting in this first page the same way that we did with the envelopes on this part of the fold. That will be a nice bold gratitude statement for my cornucopia of gratitude. I'm not certain how I'm going to integrate the cornucopia image into this journal. I might do something with it on the cover of the journal, or I might actually make a pocket or an envelope that has a cornucopia on the front of it to stick the whole journal into. And this, I might trim the top and bottom later, I'm not certain yet. So we have room for 1, 2, 3 more pages. This page was too long, but I liked the colors of it and the energy of it, so I folded it backwards onto the back of it. It was just some notes that I took when I was listening to a class about the energy of colors. When working with vellum or acetate, it is your choice how much glue you use. Sometimes it can wrinkle if you have glue under the middle of the paper. So for this one, since it's all clear like that, I'm putting the glue in a frame around the edge. Yes, I finger paint glue. In case you are wondering, it's my thing. The glue works better for me that way. You could put a touch of glue in the middle of the paper on something like this, but I am going to see how this works. E6000 can also work good for these slippery types of papers that you're attaching on, but PVA glue is usually pretty good adhesive for it. Then this flap I'm gluing down. As you noticed, I did not plan all of these things out ahead of time. I wanted you to see what it's like to see me brainstorming as I am working on this. This needs some more glue in there. So let me know in the comments what kind of journal you are creating or using, whether it's something of your own, whether it's something like Susan's videos, whether it's my first example or second example with the photocopy paper, or if you want to try one of these accordion spines. So many different ways to make your journal. That's it for my pages. I'll clear my desk off and we'll get to the cover. I chose to accent the yellow of the sunflower for the cover with this kind of corrugated cardboard type of scrapbooking paper. So now I am, take a look from the spine direction like that. I'm taking this front part of the accordion fold and I am basically centering the front cover. Same thing with the back cover. This was all I had of the paper, so I couldn't make it any bigger than this. I will be trimming down that sunflower picture because it is sticking out a little bit far for me. You know, I don't mind things sticking out of books. It just depends on how far I want to go with it. But I am trying to get the two covers in alignment, close to alignment, close to the same size with those two yellow front and back covers. Then this paper is the one that I am going to downsize a bit like so. And here. I also wanted to mention to keep all your scraps because it is nice to coordinate papers and colors that you've used someplace else in your journal. It just brings continuity to your theme if you put the same papers in another location somewhere. So even if they're small scraps like these, even this end of this envelope, you could stick it inside an envelope, stick it on top of something. So hang on to those. You never know what you might want to do with it. I want to wrap this up by saying it is okay if your accordion fold is not completely folded evenly. And now you have some choices if you're making this type of a journal. The first choice that you have is to leave it as is. You could have a journal that opens up like this. You could have a spine that has glue in between each of these folds so it stays shut like that and opens like this type of a book. You could glue a paper on top of here. Oh, how did that fit exactly? That's bizarre. To cover the spine, and then it will keep it. You know what? I think I'll do that. Let's see, it has one end ripped. Do I want that ripped end on the front or the back? I'm going to go with this way. So, well, who knew? This is what I'm doing with my spine. I am going to secure it a little bit with this extra scrapbooking paper on it. I am not putting glue where the accordion fold is. I'm putting glue where it's attaching to the yellow cover. And I am going to put a lot of glue on this because the bumps in that corrugation are going to make it a little bit challenging to really make sure that this cover piece is covering what I want it to cover. So plenty of glue and sticking on the front. I hope you're having fun with this junk journal madness. Susan has other videos from other months. And just keep in mind that it's not important. Well, it is important if you're doing it as we're doing it. But if you come across this video later on, after the fact, this was released or is going to be released in November of 2024. And that's when we are collaborating together. Great if you're joining along with us right now. But hey, if you discover this video later and want to participate, still do it. If you are watching the video as it's being released but don't have time to do it right now, hang on to it. Tag us in social media. I'm Creative Solace Studios. Susan is I Turtly Love It. You can find us on Instagram as well as here on YouTube. Susan also has a dedicated Facebook group to this wonderful project that she's started. Tag us with JJ Madness. Let us know what you are creating. But this, my friends, is my Junk Journal Madness Cornucopia of Gratitude book. I have used the accordion fold. Ooh, this stuck together a little bit. I have used envelopes. I am making use of a variety of papers, relatively sticking to, it turned out to be a pink and a yellow color theme with different types of papers in here. And this one, yes. As I was talking, I didn't realize that I have glued this. Did I? Yes. onto the last page. So this last page, if you do what I did, you can't totally lift this up. You could keep it as is. You could glue part of it down to make a pocket. I'll brainstorm what I'm going to do about this little piece that you could fold it. I'll think about that. I'll let you know in the next video. So my next video will be about decorating the pages of this mixed media junk journal. Thanks for subscribing and following along. I'm Kathleen Arola-Johnson of Creative Solace Studios. And remember, you can make your journal as fancy or as simple as you like. Simple as photocopy papers and staple. Photocopy papers of different sizes and fold it up for that bottom pocket. Staple that is covered with glue, or the main one that I'm going to be working in, but I have a feeling I'm going to be doing things with all three of these, is the accordion fold with the envelope pockets. Thanks for creating with me today, and I'll see you in the next video.